Heaven I tube, it's Abla. So today this may be a continuation of another video, or this may be its own separate video, we'll see. But I just want to talk about van life in Africa because I've been posting more about this and people are responding like, oh my gosh, van life in Africa, like that's crazy. But it's actually more simple than you would think. So obviously open to any questions about van life in Africa and anyone wanting to link and discuss that about van life on the continent. But yeah, like I said, we're nomadic, and van life is just another term, you know, like a new age term, van life, to describe being nomadic. And obviously Seagold is a nomadic community because it is strategic to be nomadic. Like I said in my previous video, or maybe the beginning of this video, Africa is facing judgment, so it is strategic to be nomadic because there's so much tribalism, political issues, different geographical factors, flooding, things like that. Because like I said, Africa is facing judgment, cyclones, all types of issues occur on the continent. So us as diaspora returning to the continent, even myself, I am returning to the continent. Even though I was born here, still I'm returning. So for us, returning onto the continent, it can be difficult to find a place to settle, you know, a place to be stagnant, a so-called home, because let's say you are a descendant of Africans, but you may not know exactly which tribe to trace your ancestry to. And even if you do, are you just gonna move onto the continent and go settle in the villages of that tribe? Are they going to welcome you? Are they going to welcome you as if you've never left? So even myself, will I be welcomed as if I've never left? Maybe it might be easier for me to just go to a place like West Africa, but that's not where I choose to be. So for us, returning onto the continent, van life and nomadic living is a great choice because it's strategic. Because like I said, where is the place for Black people coming out of the West to settle anyways on the continent? Where would we settle anyways? So why not explore the entire land? Because the entire land is ours. The entire land is ours. The entire land is a mirror, and it's a great form of homecoming. To be nomadic on the continent of Africa is a great form of homecoming. Even me being born here, I'm sure I'm seeing things and traveling places that my ancestors have never been. Some of them never been out of the borders of our village, maybe never crossed the river. Maybe they have, but to come to these points that I'm at right now, to see these things that I'm seeing, the mountains, the valleys, the lakes, the oceans, I'm actually seeing things that some of my ancestors have never even seen. So being nomadic and having this so-called van life on the continent is a great homecoming, a great form of homecoming. And like I said, Africa is facing judgment, so it is also strategic to not have to be caught in the crossfire, so to speak, of these African governments, African societies, which have become modern, to not be caught within the world. You know, we render unto Caesar as we move through the matrix, right? But we don't want to be caught in the matrix. We don't want to be trapped. We don't want to be subject to any of their fake rules and laws. The laws are for the lawless, right? So we want to move freely throughout the continent, which is ours. This whole land, everything is ours. So everything shall be inherited by us, right? So van life in Africa, speaking tangibly and practically, it's not as scary as people think. I guess it sounds like I guess when you think Africa is just a big bush, it might sound kind of intimidating, but like I said, Africa is pretty modern. So if you think there's lions and tigers and things like that, obviously there's no tigers, but lions and different wildlife, those are actually within the confines of game reserves, national parks. So us traveling throughout Africa and these fake countries, that's another thing. These borders are fake. We're experiencing what belongs to us. So going through these fake borders, and obviously we must be safe, because like I said, Africa is a purification ground. So if you come with bad intentions, it won't be pretty. It won't be that godly experience that I'm experiencing right now. You're gonna see a lot of ugly, and I see ugly, but even when I see ugly, I know that it just means that everything needs to purify, and that's beautiful to me. The purification is beautiful to me. So yeah, van life in Africa is not as scary and crazy as it might sound. Obviously, we need to be smart and be aware of these fake governments and what it means to travel through different societies, different cultures, be respectful. Like I said, render unto Caesar. But Africa is not a bush, so it's not like animals are there, but like I said, a lot of Africa is modern, so they are in national parks for the most part. They're in national parks. They're behind fences for the most part, and you'd be surprised by the African road system. Some is actually like not the best roads, but a lot of the roads they're possible. That's how we're obviously traveling through Africa, because the roads are possible. It's possible. And there's actually an overlanding culture amongst white people who live in Africa. So if the white people are overlanding and exploring and experiencing Africa, why shouldn't we? Why shouldn't the black people? I think we should. So yes, being nomadic and doing so-called van life, I know that's a new age term, but van life in Africa, the continent, is very strategic for those of us who are returning onto the continent, because like I said, where could you even settle, and should you even settle, because this whole land belongs to us. So yeah, link with Sea Gold. We are growing our community, and new members are welcome. Come well and be prepared, and know that Africa is a purification ground, and that's okay. That's beautiful, and we have to be patient with ourselves and have patience within community, and find stillness and focus on our growth through our movements, through our so-called travels. So yeah, you're welcome. Come well. I want to make more videos about so-called van life, being nomadic, and showing all the mirrors I see as we're traveling, and everything I'm experiencing, and how I'm seeing God right before my eyes, just as I should see God through my own eyes, through my own self, right? So yeah, God, I heal, I grow, I